But how do our nutrient needs change as we age, and what nutrients are most often overlooked as we age?
Yeah, I kind of think of that in separate categories. So, for example, one of the things that people always talk about when we get older is hormones. So, for a woman, it's always menopause. Obviously, more people are aware of basically andropause for a male, right? Like loss of testosterone, that sort of thing, or lower testosterone. But I think one of the hormones that's produced in the body that's not talked about as much as testosterone and estrogen is DHEA. So basically, DHEA stands for dehydroepiandrosterone. And we know, just like testosterone, it does start dropping after the age of 20. And I find clinically, the more stress someone has, the more their DHEA levels drop off quite a bit. And so the levels in terms of blood work and the reference ranges are really way too wide. And so that's something that needs to be addressed. More, I think, on the nutrient side of things, in the same way that there's menopause, andropause, there's also what we call gastropause. So basically, that means that the digestive system, as we get older, it tends to slow down. And so one of the main parts of digestion that's really critical that is not talked about enough is the acid production in the stomach. So basically, to give your readers an idea of, when you chew food, it goes down through your esophagus, and the first place in your digestive tract that food goes to is your stomach, and that's a big cement mixer, and that should be mixed with water, acids, enzymes. And the acid is really, really critical. It's literally the spark plug for the digestion engine. So obviously, if you don't have spark plugs, you can't start your car. Well, if you don't have acid, you can't start the digestive process. And what this leads to is a deficiency in two of the key B vitamins. So one is B9 folate. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about that. But then there's also B12 that many people are very, very low in. So that can affect everything from your biochemical processes. It's a cofactor for many processes. And if we go back to the whole heart disease sort of issue, if you don't have enough B12 and you have enough folate, when those guys go down, there's an inflammation marker called homocysteine that goes up. And we know that as homocysteine goes up because you don't have enough B12 and B9 folate, that's one of the sort of markers that tells us, okay, there's some kind of inflammatory process that can basically impact heart disease. So that would be one of the big ones that I see. And then the other one I would say is what we call hepatopause. So basically, gastro means digestive, pause in the production. Hepato means liver. And so people don't realize that as we get older, our liver function goes down. So that's why the need for things like glutathione actually goes up, because we're always constantly bombarded by chemical toxins from our food, BPA plastics, microplastics, all kinds of other things. And so we really want to help support the liver to detoxify those things, because obviously we can't just live in a bubble. We have to live, function, go swimming, breathe pollution in the air. So that's where I feel like we definitely need to help support the liver eventually at first, for as we get older as well.